Alright, starting. So, alright, yo, what's up? So, this is gonna be a video. This is gonna be all the books, all the Legends novels, every Star Wars book I own. So, yeah, let's get Jack Sparrow out of the way here. So we'll do that, and, take a look. So, starting off, we have Red Harvest by Joe Schreiber. Really good book, actually. This was like, if you like horror and shit, it's like a Star Wars horror book. Takes place on like an ice planet like Hoth, and it's got like a zombie virus and a lot of gore. Pretty dark for a Star Wars novel, so that's pretty crazy. So yeah, there's that. There's the cover right there in the back. So yeah, I don't like how it has that on it, but yeah. So then you have Darth Bane, Book 1, Path of Destruction. Drew Karpyshyn, phenomenal fucking writer. Anybody who doesn't know this, Drew Karpyshyn, yeah, he was one of the writers behind the Old Republic games, 1 and 2. So there's that. So that's the cover. That's the back. They don't really have backs, so. Here's Book 2, Rule of Two. That's what the whole Rule of Two is based on. For the Sith, Darth Bane's the one who creates it, and this is the book that he implements it, and it becomes primary for the Sith going forward. So that's the Rule of Two cover, and there's I believe that's Darth Zana, I believe. So yeah, that's his apprentice. And then that's Darth Bane. So yeah, great fucking book. And like I said, these are all the old covers. These are the ones before Disney decided to fucking change them. So, there's Dynasty of Evil, Book 3. Even says Novel of the Old Republic. That's Bane and Zaina. And, yeah, this is the last book of the trilogy. So this is the finale of the Darth Bane trilogy. Anybody who hasn't read that trilogy, it's great. It's fucking awesome. Fantastic. Check that shit out. That's highly underrated. If you want to learn about like the Sith and everything like that, it's a great book. So we're going in like order of the Legends timeline. So we started with like the Old Republic stuff. So now we're gonna move closer to the Phantom Menace era, and you got Darth Maul Lockdown, another Joe Schreiber novel. This is gory too, violent as fuck. This is like Darth Maul in a prison, just killing shit, and yeah, it's pretty fucking good. So not only is the cover weird and crazy, but like, excuse me, I got indigestion. But no, it's phenomenal. Just Maul stuck in like prison, killing shit, and it takes place right around before the Phantom Menace. Yeah, and Joe Schreiber, he did Death Troopers too. That's a zombie stormtrooper novel. It's one of the best stormtrooper zombie novels. So there's that. Does this have a back? No, not really. It's just chains. Moving on to Darth Plagueis, phenomenal. Oh, I cannot stress how fucking good this novel is, and how primary it is of a prequel novel to The Phantom Menace, but it is. So there's that. And phenomenal fucking cover. This is the cover that I was talking about, that like, you know, if Disney hadn't gone and changed all the covers, you know, a lot more people would be happy, and I wouldn't have had to seek out these books. But you have to, because just look at this fucking cover and tell me that that's not, you're gonna tell me that's not, like, just a must? Come on. So, you got young Palpatine in Plagueis' face. And there you go, James Luceno, GOAT. You know what I mean? The guy knows how to write Star Wars. And then there is a back to this one. And it shows Maul. Because it's a prequel to The Phantom Menace. It's got everything in it. It's got Maul. Just sets everything up perfectly. Ignore the fucking Disney thing. It's a good book. Alright? That's that. So, that's Darth Plagueis. Now, there are 2 other books that are compatible to the Darth Plagueis novel. That if you read the Darth Plagueis novel, you get a good prequel to The Phantom Menace. But there are 2 novels that if you read those as well, it just enhances that novel and that movie even more. And these are like the prequel books to The Phantom Menace. And these expand certain scenes and discussions and conversations from the Plagueis novel from a different point of view, and they deal with different perspectives. So it's kind of like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, only within the span of 3 separate Legends novels. So obviously you have Darth Plagueis, then you have Cloak of Deception, and Darth Maul Shadowhunter. Plagueis is more of Plagueis' perspective. Cloak of Deception is more of Palpatine's perspective. And then Shadowhunter is more of Darth Maul's perspective. So Cloak of Deception, this is also James Luceno wrote this. This actually came out around the time of The Phantom Menace, or after it. And this deals with more political shit, and more about the Senate, more about the, politics. Kind of like you see in the prequels. And it does it really good. And it's mainly about how they had the blockade on Naboo, and that whole mission that opens Phantom Menace, the movie, up, where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are going on the negotiations mission, and they go on the hell's that thing called? Forget what it's called, but they go on the Trade Federation ship. This book explains how that gets set up, like how they invade Naboo, how the Neimoidians, how Palpatine uses them, shit like that, like Nute Gunray. Why is Nute Gunray a pivotal character in The Phantom Menace? This book explains that. This explains how Palpatine uses them. So, I don't think there's a back to this. Just Coruscant, which Coruscant's cool. Then you have the Maul book. Alright, so Shadowhunter, this isn't like Lockdown. Lockdown's like Maul, unhinged, gory, fucking, killing people. Just, that's a crazy, like, Maul's in prison, and it's gory as fuck. That's what Lockdown is, right? That's unhinged Maul. This is Maul from The Phantom Menace. Like, when we get him with the hood, he's like all black cloak, shit like that. He's hunting, he's hunting for Qui-Gon on Tatooine in Phantom Menace. This is that kind of Maul. The reason why it's called Shadowhunter is because throughout the whole book, he's hunting these people in Coruscant's underworld. This is why I love this book, is because it deals with the underworld of Coruscant. And he's hunting all these different Jedi. He's hunting these different people that work for Palpatine who, they're probably going to rat on Palpatine. They're probably going to expose Palpatine. So he's like, this book kind of has plot armor. And you kind of know, like, he has to live in the book. And he has to kill everybody in the book. Because they can't find out about him. Otherwise, the Sith get exposed. So Maul's whole, like, existence and Maul's whole character is like, okay, I'm gonna kill everybody as much as I possibly can without being caught. and without being seen and without being detected and revealing ourselves to the like he says in Phantom Menace, at last we can reveal ourselves to the Jedi and have revenge. You know, but this book, he's just like going around the underworld like Terminator, fucking killing people, marking people left and right, and doing it stealthily and, you know, so that he doesn't get caught. So that's what that book's about. Phenomenal book, highly underrated, pretty good. And I believe Sam Witwer does the audiobook for that. So if you want like Mole to sound like Sam and not Peter Serafinowicz, then I think that's how you say his name. Then there you go. You can have that. You can listen to that audiobook. But yeah, that's Mole, Shadowhunter, and yeah, these books don't really have backs. So that's the end of the like. Oh well, I shouldn't say that. This book's too big for me to put on the top shelf, so I had to put it on a second shelf next to all the Harry Potter shit. But this book, this is what I was talking about yesterday in the stream. This book is fucking pivotal. Revenge of the Sith, if you're a fan of Revenge of the Sith, if you're a fan of Darth Vader, if you just want a good fucking book that's like, you know, the size of a Bible, like that's how big it is. That's how thick it is. This is your book. I don't want to mess this book up. I really don't. This book, I don't know if this is a rare book or not, but I found this specific version in this format. Now these books, they typically are separated into 3 books like this size. And it even tells you down the middle here, you got Labyrinth of Evil, that's the prequel novel to Revenge of the Sith. That takes place right before Revenge of the Sith. Like, if you think Clone Wars Season 7's canon, it's not. Labyrinth of Evil, to me, that's fucking canon. That's the prequel to Revenge of the Sith. And that takes place on, actually, I believe that takes place on Canto Nemoidia, right before they go on the Battle of Coruscant or whatever, right before the Chancellor is captured and shit like that. And that book has insights as to how Palpatine set up that whole thing. And I think you get a bit of Grievous too, if I'm not mistaken. So that's the prequel to Labyrinth of Evil. Excuse me. Then you have the Revenge of the Sith novelization after that, which is it's pretty obvious. That's it's the official novelization of Revenge of the Sith. So, happy 20 years. Movie's phenomenal. It's fucking masterpiece, fantastic. Favorite prequel movie, hands down. But the novel, man, by Matthew Stover, crazy as shit. Goes in depth, in detail, dissects the whole fucking movie. It's like the script of the movie, but like 10 times better. It has everything you need in it. It's like Lucas took the script and just enhanced the script. So that 4-hour Revenge of the Sith Lucas cut that I want to see, that's what the book is, basically. It's basically the script of the movie enhanced up to like times 10. So it's great book, great film, just masterpiece. And then you have the sequel to Revenge of the Sith, which takes place right after Revenge of the Sith, right after he gets put in the suit, and that's Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader. That book is more of like an insight into Vader's head and where he's at mentally and physically after Revenge of the Sith. The pain he's in, like the emotions he's feeling, the rage he's feeling, his thoughts towards Obi-Wan, and like, hey, maybe I could have done shit differently. Like, maybe had I not joined the dark side, like, he's actually like second guessing himself and shit in the book. And he's like, maybe had I not done this crap, I wouldn't be in this situation. So yeah, it's a pretty phenomenal book, insight into Vader. and everything like that. But this version of the book, this is rare. I don't... I found it on Amazon, so if it's still available on there, you know, I would get it while you can. But I don't, to be honest, I don't think Disney's going to reprint it in this format. This book, I try to do as much as I can to keep it in good shape, because this is like, it's a pain in the ass to obtain, and it's a pain in the ass to reprint, and I just don't think that Disney's gonna reprint it in this format with all 3 novels. They'll just do the new art, and the new art is pretty dog shit, and they'll separate them. There's somewhat of a back to this. You get like his hand and shit. So, for the first time in one thrilling volume, 3 novels, Labyrinth of Evil, Revenge of the Sith, and Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, that follow an epic chain of events. The last days of the Republic, the creation of the Empire, and the ultimate transformation of Jedi Anakin Skywalker into the notorious Darth Vader. There's a glare because I have a light on so you could see better, because the lighting was shit in my room. It's like, as of recording this, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, so yeah. On the planet Nemoidia, Jedi Knights Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker seize an unexpected prize, intelligence capable of leading the Republic forces to the ever-elusive Darth Sidious, who is ruthlessly orchestrating a campaign to divide and overwhelm the Jedi forces. As combat escalates across the galaxy and Darth Sidious remains one step ahead of his pursuers, the stage is set for an explosive endgame tormented by unspeakable visions. Anakin edges closer to the brink of a galaxy-shaping decision. See, like how I said in the stream yesterday, that whole fucking Order 66, that whole thing changes the whole course of the galaxy. So when Jedi are constantly, oh, they're still alive, you know, and like a bunch of them survive, it ruins the whole impact that it has. You know, so while Darth Sidious plots to strike the final staggering blow against the Republic and to ordain a fearsome new Sith Lord, Darth Vader, one of the most powerful knight ever known to the Jedi Order, Anakin becomes Darth Vader, a disciple of the dark side, a lord of this dreaded Sith, and the avenging right hand of the galaxy's ruthless new emperor. As a few surviving Jedi lead a charge on a separatist stronghold, the deadliest threat still rests in the swift and lethal crimson lightsaber of Darth Vader, meaning, who's hunting these Jedi down? Not the fucking Inquisitors. Darth Vader himself. It's his mission. It's what he wants to do. It's what he's gonna do. Not, oh, let's go send the Grand Inquisitor, because that's canon. It's not. Behind whose brooding mask lies a shattered heart, a poisoned soul, and a cunning, twisted mind hell-bent on vengeance. For the handful of scattered Jedi hunted across space, survival is imperative if the light side of the Force is to be protected and the galaxy reclaimed. So, Labyrinth of Evil by James Luceno, Revenge of the Sith by Matthew Stover, and story and screenplay by George Lucas. Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader by James Luceno. So, James Luceno and Matthew Stover and George Lucas, they are geniuses. I'm just going to leave that out there. This shit is canon. You can keep telling me your Clone Wars Season 7's canon. That's fine. You go with that. Darth Plagueis to me is canon. These books are canon. Cloak of Deception, Shadowhunter, this, Darth Plagueis. I could go on. Okay, these books are canon. So, Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader. Happy 20th anniversary. Revenge of the Sith. There it is. Boom. That's that book. Now we're going to go on to after the prequels. Now we're getting to before the original trilogy era. So this is Kenobi the novel by John Jackson Miller. Now I like John Jackson Miller better as a novel writer than I do a comic book writer. I like this novel better than I like the Old Republic comics. I think he really good. This book is not what you think it is. This book is not. This is a Western, in Star Wars, this is basically the man with no name. The Clint Eastwood movies, like the Dollars trilogy, the good, the bad, and the ugly character. This is basically Obi-Wan as the man with no name. And what he is he's on Tatooine, in exile, watching after Luke. But this book is told from the different perspectives of different people on Tatooine. And they encounter Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan's like this Western-esque cowboy drifter type character where wherever he shows up, people are like looking at him, they have shit to say about him. And he's sometimes he's doing shit. He's fighting Tusken Raiders. He's dealing with like people that Jabba the Hutt sent to get payments from people. He's dealing with debt collectors. He's dealing with all kinds of shit. So this book is not so much about Ewan McGregor's era of Obi-Wan. It's more or less him transforming into Ben Kenobi from the original trilogy. So this picture is kind of false, but it's the prequel Obi-Wan transforming into the original trilogy Obi-Wan. That's why it's called Kenobi. And you get the Luke's homestead, you get the twin sons, you get really good picture of Obi-Wan. So it's phenomenal. Phenomenal novel. You can consider this canon or not, I don't really care. It's a good Obi-Wan story. And that's that, is what it is. It's mainly about Tatooine. That's pretty much it. It's basically like filler, kind of, but it's pretty good. For like an Obi-Wan book. A lot of people like it. A lot of people say it should be taught in like schools and shit. Which a Star Wars book being taught in school, I don't know about that, but a lot of people think it's that good. Like it's a reading masterpiece. Now we're getting into after the original, not after the original trilogy, but before the original trilogy, and in that era. So the Coruscant Nights trilogy, this is a book of series by Michael Reeves. Yeah, Michael Reeves. Michael Reeves wrote the Darth Maul Shadowhunter book. This book is about, this book trilogy, it's about a Jedi who survived Order 66, which I do not like. The only reason I own these books is because they have Vader in it. Well, one of them does, anyways. Like, he's on the cover of this one. So. But the only reason I like these books is they deal with the underworld of Coruscant. Now, if this character wasn't a Jedi, I'd love them 10 times more. They would be like probably my favorite, book trilogy. Other than the Thrawn trilogy and all the other stuff. But it's just, it's got everything. It's got underworld shit. It's got, book 2 shows you it has like, it's got Twi'leks. It's got, it's got all kinds of shit. It's got underworld stuff. It deals with the underworld of Coruscant. It's called Coruscant Nights for a reason. It's kind of like those 50 Noirs films. For example, like if you've ever seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, sorry. But if you've seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, keep fucking that up. Because I'm not in the mood for that this morning. I'm not in tongue-twisting mode. I just woke up, so. But, if you ever seen, like, 1950s noir, where it's like, hey, Dolly, and they close the door, and it's like The Office, and they got the cigarette smoking and shit. That's basically what these novels are, this trilogy of novels. It's basically 50s noir in Star Wars. And he's like an underworld detective-type character. But at one point, he was a Jedi and shit, which I don't really care for. Like I said, if he was just like an underworld type investigator, that would make the books 100%. Like, he is, but he's also a Jedi. But if he wasn't a Jedi, they'd be like 100% better. If he was just an investigator, and he was just like kind of like Blade Runner, like Rick Deckard from Blade Runner, and he was just like you know, an investigator in the underworld, that would be 100 times better. If he was like an undercover, you know, guy doing shit in the underworld, going into cantinas and clubs and all that shit, great. But the problem is he's a Jedi and he's on the run. I didn't need that whole shit. Just make him an investigator. Just make him an underworld dealer. Just make him like a guy who knows what the Coruscant underworld is like. And these books would be 10 times better. So, that's the Coruscant Knights trilogy right here, all three of them. Book 1, 2, and 3. Then you get to the Han Solo trilogy, kid. This is probably the best fucking... This trilogy is better than this trilogy, we'll leave it at that. Not as good as the Thrawn trilogy, but pretty fucking good. This trilogy also deals with the underworld and the criminal syndicates and Jabba the Hutts and the Black Sun and all that good stuff. How Han met Chewie, how he got the Falcon, how he met Lando, all the characters he knew before the original trilogy, like this girl that he was gonna marry, and, you know, some weird cat-looking guy. So here's book 1, The Paradise Snare. This is young Han Solo. This is like right after Revenge of the Sith, before the original trilogy. And this book is about how he meets Chewie and everything like that. Why is Chewie so indebted to Han? What's the deal? Well, this explains it. These books were the actual origin story for Han Solo before they came out with the stupid-ass Solo movie and decided to make that canon. In my opinion, this is the more... there's no back. It's just red. These are the more... Obviously, these are the more canon versions to me. And I like them better. So you get Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett. Shows you why Boba Fett hates Han Solo so much. So these are fucking great. You know, if you're like a huge Han Solo fan, because for me he's like top 5 characters out of the whole fucking series. If you like Han Solo like me, and you want to know how Han Solo got to be Han Solo, and I'm talking about the Harrison Ford one, not the Disney Solo, a Star Wars story one. If you want to know why he is the way he is in the original trilogy, why things are the way they are, why Han's got so much shit and baggage, and this is why. These three novels, they explain his whole backstory, his whole character, the whole universe he comes from, the underworld, why he's a smuggler, how he became a smuggler, how he was originally a pilot for the Empire. He was a TIE fighter pilot, and he, you know, used to work for the Empire and shit. And yeah, Solo just took that story and ruined it, and I think the books are way better. It just explains everything in a trilogy, and by the end of the trilogy, like this book, like I'm pretty sure like the last chapter of this, it's literally when he goes to Mos Eisley Cantina, and when you meet him in A New Hope. So as like, and I'm pretty sure it's from his perspective. So he's like, him and Chewie sit at the table, if I'm not mistaken, and he's like, there's an old kid. Or no, he's like, there's an old geezer, man, and there's a kid that just walked into the cantina with 2 droids. And they're coming over to my table. Like one of those type of deals. It's kind of like a fucking, you know, it's kind of like all those, like, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad type things, where it's like from a different perspective of from a character that you know, but now it's from their perspective. Or like a Quentin Tarantino film where it's like told, and then it's from their perspective, and then you see a character that was told their perspective was told earlier in the movie or whatever. So to the original trilogy, that's what this is. This is like, hey, alright, I'm gonna sit down and have coffee. Oh shit, a new adventure is about to begin. that type of thing. That's what the end of that book is like. So, yeah, that whole trilogy is fucking phenomenal. If you like Han, read those. This Halo book, this is an old Halo book I had for a long time. That's how beat up it is. But that's not Star Wars, so still a good book though. If you're a fan of the games. Then you got Shadows of the Empire. Now, Shadows of the Empire is it's a good multimedia project. Even before the Clone Wars multimedia project, back in the 90s, Lucasfilm, Lucas Books, Lucas Arts, back before they were re-releasing the original trilogy in theaters, the prequels hadn't come out yet, and George hadn't done the prequels yet. So they were going to re-release the original trilogy, and that's when they did the special editions, where they added all the CGI stuff. They added Coruscant and all the CGI creatures and stuff like that. So for the re-release of the special editions, they were like, how can we come out with like a movie without a movie? How can we do something like a project without actually creating a movie itself? How can we do like a movie without a movie? Like I just said. So they created a book and a comic, and we'll get into that later because I'll show you the comic later. And then a game, and then some trading cards and some action figures, and I have the action figures as well, but we're not reviewing that today. But Shadows of the Empire is a story set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So that time between, like after Luke gets his hand cut off and before Return of the Jedi, that's this whole story. You want to know why Luke is such a Jedi badass in Return of the Jedi? This book explains it. You want to know what Vader's thinking and like why he's like, my son. Like there's a fucking segment in this book where Vader is talking to himself about having a kid. And he's like, I have a kid. And like, what would that be like? And like, I'm a father. And like, can I be a father? Is that even a possibility? Someone as evil as me and stuff like that? So you have like Tin Man talking about how can I have a son? You know, and then you have Shizor, who's a fucking also really cool character. He's like a criminal Black Sun. Yeah, he owns the Black Sun crime syndicate and everything. He's a he's kind of like Jabba. He works with Jabba. He's in that underworld. He's an underworld character, and I believe he's in the Jedi. He's in the Coruscant Knights trilogy too, if I'm not mistaken. Then you have you got Palpatine, Vader and Shizor like going at it with each other for who's gonna be Palpatine's right hand man. They're fighting for who has Palpatine's approval and all that shit. Like, well, no, I'm better than you at this, and I'm gonna get on the Emperor's good side. And so him and Vader are going at it. Meanwhile, Palpatine's just like, yeah, bring me Skywalker. That's all I want. So here's the back. You get swoop bikes, Boba Fett. So this book, like I said, here is the untold story of the events that took place between the movies Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, a novel in which Darth Vader still lives and battles a villain as powerful as evil as himself. It is a time of crisis. Han Solo, frozen in carbonite, is being taken to the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt. As Princess Leia mounts a rescue mission, including Luke Skywalker, Lando Calrissian, and a brilliant young pilot, which is, I believe that's Dash Rendar. Darth Vader pits himself against a cunning and ruthless rival Shizor, who is the leader of a powerful crime syndicate who seeks to supplant Vader for the favor of their mutual master, the dreaded Emperor. Their target, Luke Skywalker, suddenly finds himself the potential prize of the two most evil entities in the galaxy. One of who wants him alive and one who wants him dead. So obviously, Shizor wants him dead. And Vader wants him alive because Vader's whole thing is, that's my kid. And the Emperor told him in The Empire Strikes Back, he will join us or die. So Vader's like, well, I need to try to get him to turn because I'm not going to just kill my son. This book is about, like, Anakin having a, not really Anakin, but, like, Vader coming back to Anakin. Like, Anakin's coming back. And, like, Vader's starting to get soft. And, he's starting to realize, like, you know, I may be doing the wrong thing. So that's more like this book. Him and Shizor are going at it because Shizor wants Luke dead, so he can get on the good side of the Emperor. Because the Emperor doesn't give a shit whether Luke dies or survives. It doesn't matter because he says whether he joins us or not, he will die. Just like in Return of the Jedi, you will join us or die, young Jedi. So the Palpatine don't give a fuck. So Vader and Shizor are kind of like, they're doing like a cat and mouse game of like who's going to get him first, who's going to get Luke first. And Vader wants him alive so he can try to turn him again. But also because he's his kid. And then Shizor kind of wants to kill him just because he doesn't give a fuck. And he just wants to get on the good side of the Emperor and take Vader's place as his right-hand man. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but it's a pretty fucking good book. Like, if you're looking for a book that, like, takes place in between movies and it sets up the next movie perfectly, this book is the equivalent to the original trilogy of what the Dark Lord trilogy is for Revenge of the Sith. So if Labyrinth of Evil and Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader and Revenge of the Sith, if that's the Dark Lord trilogy, this is a good inclusion to the original trilogy. This is like, if you watch the original trilogy, this is a must. Because if you want to know why Luke is the way he is in Return of the Jedi, this is the book. You know, how they end up at Jabba's palace, why they're looking, they're hunting down, trying to find Han, trying to get Han Solo back because he's frozen in carbonite, how Leia got the bounty hunter disguise. Good shit. Fantastic shit. What they were up to before Return of the Jedi. That's a fantastic book. Then you have the Thrawn trilogy. Obviously, at this point, this was, back in the 90s, before Lucas was even going to consider even doing prequels. And we didn't even know if we were going to get re-releases of the original trilogy with the special editions. But this is way before... I believe these were the first books of the expanded universe. And this is basically the original 7, 8, and 9. Like, this is what the original 7, 8, and 9 is considered to people, not what we got. This is basically it. This is, this is all what happened after Return of the Jedi. So, Thrawn, stuff like that. Phenomenal books. I can't really go into detail about those because at this point, they're classics. And at this point, they're a must. So if you're going to read them, read them. I don't know what to tell you other than that. Like, they're really good. I don't want to spoil them because they are really fucking good. And these are the proper sequels. Like, this is 7, 8, and 9 to its core. Like, you want to know what happens after Return of the Jedi? This is it. Like, this is the good shit. And now Disney's probably going to be doing a movie about this. And they're going to try to recreate this. And, there's some, like, shit on this book. What the hell here? Like, dust. But, supposedly Disney's going to try to make a movie off of this with Dave Filoni's little fan characters. So you're going to get Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra. You're going to get all those dumbass characters, and they're going to try to do the Thrawn trilogy. Only it's not going to be like the Thrawn trilogy from the books. So they're going to try to... There's no back to these, just the front cover. But they're going to try to... They want to try to do a movie off this. And they're probably going to try to do Heir to the Empire. It's already confirmed. They already said they're doing a movie that's like an Endgame, Avengers Endgame style movie where like everybody teams up and Thrawn's kind of like Thanos, and even though Disney Thrawn is really bad. Like, he's neutered, and he's a pussy, and he sucks ass, and he's really not scary at all. He's just blue and, soft. Whereas Thrawn from the books is like a fucking, he's just like lethal as fuck. He'll just shoot you and ask questions later. If he wants you dead, you'll be dead. That's that. So all he's got to do is snap his fingers and you're dead. Literally, like, before Thanos ever did it, this dude was doing it. You know what I mean? So and he doesn't have an infinity gauntlet or nothing. He's just really smart. Got a really fucking smart brain. And he's just a really good war tacticianer. And yeah, I mean, he's just a badass in the books. I don't know what to say about that. Like, Disney can try to bring this character into canon. Doesn't fucking matter. They already fucked him up. He sucks ass in canon. It's not the same character. So, but if you want to know what happens after Return of the Jedi, those are the books, man. That's the trilogy. Thrawn trilogy, book 1, 2, and 3. So, fantastic books. But I would love... See, that's the thing at this point. Do it. Go ahead, Disney. Like, I don't care. Like, at this point, I dare you to try to make this live action. Because you'll fuck it up. And it's not going to be the same thing. And people are not going to enjoy it as much. Because it will suck. Just hands down. So, go ahead. You attempt that. You try that. It's not going to work. These books will always be 7, 8, and 9 to a lot of people. And these will be the definitive fucking sequels. So go ahead, try to make the movie about it. And I will laugh when it bombs, because you're not going to top the books. Because you've already set your own tone, you've already set you're set in your ways. You've already made Thrawn the way you want to make them. You're already using characters you want to use. As Filoni wants to use his little toy box. Go ahead. But it's not going to work. There's no Mara Jade. Just characters people like. So, have fun with that. You know what I mean? Good luck. Best off to you, Disney. Hats off. Good luck. Let's move this shit. This is, gonna move. But yeah, have fun with that. Best off to you. And then there's 2 books that take place after that, also by Timothy Zahn, called Spectre of the Past. And then, Vision of the Future. Now, these books deal with the relationship with Mara Jade. And, like, it goes through everything they've been through. Luke, Leia, Han. Jurassic Park fell down. Moved that. That deals with all those characters. And it's basically, these 2 books are basically the original trilogy characters going down memory lane of all the adventures they had. And, yeah, they're really good. It's about Luke and Mara Jade's relationship and how they end up getting married and fall in love. And, yeah, it just expands that whole Luke and Mara Jade relationship, and they take place after the Thrawn trilogy, and it's them reminiscing. I don't have any of the new Jedi Order books. I know that series is phenomenal. The Yuuzhan Vong are phenomenal, but I just don't have enough space for 19 fucking books. So, yeah, that's that. I know they're good. I know the new Jedi Order books are really good, and they're really dark, and they're really grim, and a lot of shit happens in those books. Like, I'm talking, stakes is high, and that's kind of like the end of the Star Wars universe, kind of. And it's like, basically, that's like Avengers Endgame for the Star Wars characters, only 10 times worse. Because a lot of characters die, and a lot of shit, it serves as like the end of the entire saga. But it's just 19 books, and I don't have that much space for 19 books, but I have some comics that'll explain that time period. We'll go back to it. But around that time period, there was a book that took place. This is another Underworld book called Scourge. It's about a Jedi. It's literally about a Jedi with glasses. Like, he's like a smart Poindexter character. He's like a Jedi with glasses. Obviously, the cover's not what the actual character's like, but it's basically this smart character, smart Jedi character, and he goes to basically Hutt space, which is like Nar Shaddaa, Nal Hutta, you know. He goes to the underworld section of the galaxy, like where all the underworld shit happens. And it's basically like a dork gets sent to a part of space where he doesn't fit in. It's one of those type of deals. It's like fish out of water story, where it's a dorky Jedi goes to an underworld area of space, and he's dealing with all this underworld shit. So like people are snorting spice, you know, shit like that. And you know, meanwhile he's like, you know, I'm just here on a Jedi mission and shit like that. So it's kind of like a fish out of water story about a smart Jedi who goes and gets himself wrapped up in some shit. So I'm putting all these books back right now, but then you have these little ones on the side here. I'll get to those in a minute. Those are they're not novels, but they're books I read when I was a kid. Books I had when I was a kid that, you know, got me into reading and Star Wars at the same time. So yeah, these are the DK books. These are these books. These are for kids, obviously. When you want to get your kid into reading, these are the type of books you read. So this is one of them. Yeah, it's a story of Darth Vader. So these books, they helped me get into reading when I was a little kid, but they were also, you know, I was a fan of Star Wars and not as much reading. Now I like both. So these books got me into reading and Star Wars. So yeah, that's what those books are about. That's what they did for me as a kid. So yeah, shout out to those books. If I didn't read those books, I wouldn't have read all these. And I wouldn't have been into the expanded universe. I wouldn't have gotten into the expanded universe because I wouldn't have known how to read because I would be illiterate. So yeah, let me put this here. It's a comic, by the way. This is not a book, so I don't know why this is up here. The fuck's this doing here? Just move that. Then there's this book. This is another one. I gotta pick that up real quick. Hold up. So, let me fix this. This is just, you know, my relationship with this book. This book is, I saw this in school library, and it's more of like a junior novel. It's not really a, you know, it's not like these novels. They're not these ones are more, like these ones are more adult, and like this is like a junior novel. This is for kids. But this book is basically this is the events of episode 2 from the perspective of Jango and Boba Fett. So this is Attack of the Clones, but from Boba Fett and Jango Fett's perspective, and like how they saw shit during that movie. Like it's in Jango's head, it's in Boba's head, and Boba's like kind of like, oh yeah. You know, because, like, when Obi-Wan shows up on Kamino, like, Boba Fett's like, there's a guy with a lightsaber. And, like, you get it from his perspective. And, like, when they're going in that field, and Obi-Wan's chasing them with the Jedi Starfighter, you get in their head while they're flying their ship. So it's kind of like that thing. It's, like, basically, like I said, it's from the perspective of those characters, in that movie. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty good junior novel for kids if they're into that stuff, because it's not like a big novel, it's pretty small. So alright, so that's all the novels, man. Now we're gonna get into comics. I'm gonna show you the comics collection, so ignore the Conan and ignore all that shit. So alright, over here, these are the Star Wars comics. that I have. So, obviously, here's the comic format of the Thrawn trilogy. This just got reprinted by Marvel, and it's literally all three paperbacks into one thick paperback. So, they did do a comic version of this, and you know, the comic version's pretty good too. If you really don't want to read the novels and you don't like reading, just read the comic. Comic's really good too. So, read the Thrawn trilogy comic. And then here's the Shadows of the Empire comic. So that goes with the book. But the comic is more from the perspective of Boba Fett. So it's more of like Boba Fett's story and like what Boba Fett was doing. And then there's a sequel to that, which is Shadows of the Empire Evolution. And I believe this takes place after Return of the Jedi. But it's about like this girl who was also in Shadows of the Empire, Yuri. And she's like an android. It's about what she was doing, how she escaped the events of the first Shadows of the Empire. And then here's the Mara Jade book. It's about Mara Jade, her story, how she was the Emperor's hand, which means she worked for the Emperor. She was his special assassin before they did Inquisitors. So, yeah, think about that. So before they did Inquisitors, the Emperor had one person who was a trained lightsaber killer, and that was Mara Jade. She was his special force assassin, Jedi assassin, Sith assassin, whatever. And she would go on to marry Luke Skywalker. Like, the person who wanted to kill Luke Skywalker marries him. She goes from hating his guts and wanting to kill him to loving his guts and having his kid. So, yeah, it's crazy. So that's her comic. Then you have the iconic Dark Empire comic with the original cover. And this is the story about how the Emperor returns. And this is before Episode 9 ever came out. But this is basically where they ripped that story from. The Emperor clones himself in a younger body, and he comes back. And Luke, you know, turns to the dark side and joins him in order to defeat him. He has to learn about him. So he goes, okay, so the first time I killed him, that didn't work. This time, if I want to beat him, I gotta join him. I gotta figure out how he works. So he joins the dark side in order to learn about him, to beat him. And yeah, Luke's powerful as shit in this. By the way, this comic, I don't even consider this canon. It's just in its own universe. It's kind of like a what if. Because I don't like how the Emperor returns. I never liked that whole thing. But, yeah, he turns to the dark side, but he's overpowered because he's just taking out AT-ATs in this fucking book. Like, he's just cutting AT-ATs down with his fucking bare hands. You remember that scene in The Last Jedi? Well, if you haven't seen it, but there's a scene where he's like, what am I gonna do? Face down the whole First Order with my bare hands? Well, in this book, he does it. Like, he literally cuts down a fucking AT-AT with his bare hands. Like, he's not in a ship, nothing. He's just standing there and he just cuts it down like nothing. And it's like, yeah, dude. I would have loved to have seen that in The Last Jedi, but nah. And then here's the sequel, Dark Empire 2. So, like, it's a good comic, but, like, it's kind of, like, really not canon. It's kind of like, for me, it's kind of more like The Force Unleashed, where the characters are so fucking powerful that it's like, and the Emperor comes back, and it's like, there's so much shit in it that it's like, it just doesn't fit the overarching saga. Where Force Unleashed is like, this character's so fucking powerful that we just can't make him canon. He's just exists in his own universe. That's kind of like what this comic does for me. That's The Empire's End. So this is, it's the last book. I don't know why it's so thin. But that's the last book in the Dark Empire trilogy. So I have all 3 Dark Empire books. And then here we have this book, Union. This takes place after the Thrawn trilogy, after those two books I was talking about, Spectre of the Past and Vision of the Future. This is the sequel to that. And this is, like, those books were about how their relationship, how Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker fall in love. This book is how they get married. This is literally the wedding special for Star Wars. This is the marriage of Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade. So that's what that comic's about. You get a wedding in Star Wars. Now, moving on to the part of the EU that I like. We're getting into, the future of Star Wars now. So, this is the Yuuzhan Vong War. This was told in the, New Jedi Order books. Like I said, there's like 19 of them or some shit, so I don't have enough space for all those, but I do have there's a three-part comic about them called Invasion, and it's about the Yuuzhan Vong War. And, it's really good. Lots of people dying in these books. Invasion, the Yuuzhan Vong. Pretty good. The Yuuzhan Vong, those were characters that, like, they couldn't be touched by the Force. You couldn't control them with the Force. You couldn't do anything. They were untouchable and unkillable by the Force. So they were like the big bad. They were like the final hoorah big bad. Like, these guys are worse than Palpatine. They're unkillable. They were like an alien species from another galaxy that ended up in the Star Wars galaxy and ended up, just invading and taking over and killing a whole bunch of people and, like, wiping out, like, pretty much half the galaxy and taking it over and enslaving everybody and everything like that. And all the characters from the original trilogy try to fight them off. Some people die. Some characters straight up die. So this is literally the Avengers Endgame, but better, of Star Wars. So, that's like the final. Good luck. Like, you're gonna need it. Good luck, kid. You're gonna need it. It's one of those. So spoilers, Chewie dies in that series, by the way. Like, he fucking gets blown up by a moon. Like, he literally gets, just, like, a whole moon lands on Chewie. And, like, he just dies. And, like, a whole planet explodes. And, so rip Chewie. But, they kill a lot of people off in those books. That's why those books are so fucking crazy. I don't want to spoil what else they do, too. They do a lot of other shit that, you're like, whoa. Okay. So, 19 books. I know what happens. I don't need to get all 19. I have these 3 comics. That's about it. That's all I need. So, then you get to the legacy books. These are all the legacy comics. This is close to my favorite time period in Star Wars because, like I said, it's that, Old Republic, and then, the Clone Wars era from the Expanded Universe. The original Clone Wars comics, about Quinlan Vos and everything like that. So, these are that's the legacy with Cade Skywalker, Darth Talon, and it's like 125 years after Return of the Jedi. And it's like all new characters, like completely new characters. Everybody from the original trilogy is dead. It's 100-something years after it. And it's all new people, all new characters. Luke's a Force ghost, the whole deal, the whole shebang. Darth Talon is in it. That's the whole comic series with Darth Talon, Darth Krayt. This is Ashred Het, by the way. That character I was talking about, that Anakin Skywalker has the conversation with. This is that character. He ends up in hypersleep or some shit. Like, he ends up in hibernation sleep because he gets frozen. And he goes from living in the Clone Wars era to they wake him up from hypersleep. And he becomes a Sith. and he becomes Darth Great. So that character, Ashred Het, who was a Tusken Raider Jedi, that, you know, forgave Anakin, well, it goes back to that in this comic book when he's Darth Great. This is Cade Skywalker. He's the long distant, what is he, like, great-grandson of Luke Skywalker. He's pretty sure he's his great-grandson or some shit. So, it's all new characters. And it's, yes, it has a Skywalker in it, but it's like a great-great-grandson of Luke. So, but, yeah, you get Darth Talon, you get Cade Skywalker, you get Ashred Het comes back, and he's, you know, a fucking Sith Lord now. And they go back and they have that conversation, and he goes, "You're Cade Skywalker." And he's like, "I met your great-great-grandfather." And, like, your great-great-great-great whatever grandfather or whatever, I had a conversation with him once. He told me everything. I should have turned his ass into the council. I should have turned his ass into the Jedi Council. I should have... He told me about slaughtering Tusken Raiders. That whole thing, he told me about all that shit. He killed my people. But not only that, because of me, I'm responsible. He feels responsible for the whole galaxy being changed the way it was, and, like, Anakin turning to Vader and stuff like that. And he's like, had I fucking killed your great-great-grandfather, you would not be here today, and I wouldn't be dealing with your ass. And I wouldn't have to deal with this shit. So, yeah. Ashred Het. That's him without the mask. This is when he becomes Darth Great. So this is the lightsaber he had when he was a Jedi. 138 years after Episode 4. So, yeah, it's way after the original trilogy. But, yeah, he has a conversation with Cade Skywalker, and he says, yeah, I knew Darth Vader, I knew Anakin Skywalker, and I should have killed him. Because had I killed him, you would not exist. So there, yeah, that's pretty fucking... The whole thing wraps around and it comes full circle, so it's fucking mind-boggling. Let me show you something else real quick. Don't worry, Mike, I don't know what time it is. Alright, so, this book. This is the Old Republic Omnibus. These are the comics that take place right around the time of the games, I want to say. If you're a big fan of the Old Republic games, kudos to you, because I am too. You got Knights of the Old Republic 1, 2. This is before it. This takes place before the Knights of the Old Republic games, and it's a comic series about a whole bunch of different characters. But Darth Malik's in this, and Darth Revan's in this for like 2 seconds. And Darth Revan, they show you how he gets the mask in this comic. I don't know where exactly at, but I don't know if I can find it. But, see if I can. Wait, is this it? Oh, these are the... No, those are the Mandalorians, though. That's what the Mandalorians are like. So, like I said, between this and Legacy, these are, like, my favorite, you know, eras of Star Wars, like, where it's all new characters, all new shit. And, you know, Disney has yet to even do any of this, but... trying to see if... it wouldn't be here. Nah, but Malik's in this, and Darth Revan's in this. And it shows you how Darth Revan gets the mask. But it's like one page. It's like a flashback, so I don't know if I can find it. All new characters, all new. Yeah, look at that art though. By the way, look at that. That's crazy. But no, I don't. No, I can't find it. I don't know where it's at. Some of the art is, the thing I don't like about this comic series is like, some of the art's like wishy-washy. Oh yeah, by the way, this chick has a vision of the future and Vader's in it. Like, this chick has a vision of Vader, like 1,000 years before he's even created. She has a vision of the future. Of like the Skywalkers. See Luke. She sees Luke, Vader, and then Cade Skywalker from Legacy. So that guy you saw in the Legacy comics, that's him. And yeah, she has like a vision of all the Skywalkers and shit. But I'm trying to see if I can find that one thing, like the Malik thing. But they show you how Revan gets his mask, but I can't fucking find it. Because him and Malik are in it for like 2 seconds. They're not in it long because they're not the main characters of the story, but yeah. The villains of the first two. Well, the first game, actually, not the second game. The second game's Darth Nihilus and shit like that. I'm trying to find it, but can't find it. It's all Jedi, Sith, shit like that. It's like the heyday of the Jedi. But can't fucking find it. Wait a minute. No, that's a Mandalorian. Well, I mean, Revan has a Mandalorian mask, but this is not. It's not showing me where the fuck it's at. This is it. Here it is, right here. I found. Holy shit! I found it. So this is the battlefield that Revan was on, and he finds the mask before Knights of the Old Republic. And here's Malik. So this is Revan, and then this is Malik before he gets his jaw cut off. So, yeah, before he gets the whole lower half of his face cut off. And then Revan finds the mask. And then they're, like, going to war and shit with the Mandalorians. And, yeah, he gets the mask, and then there's Malik. That's Malik before he has his jaw cut off. And then, puts the mask on. Until the Mandalorians have been defeated once and for all, so swears Revan. So that's how Revan gets the mask and shit. And then you get Malik before he gets his jaw cut off. And like he was actually like a normal dude at one point. And then I think it even shows you how he gets his jaw cut off too. Or I don't, maybe not. But yeah, Malik's in it for like 2 seconds. So yeah, that's Malik. Darth Malik. But he ain't in it long, they ain't in it long. I thought I remember them showing Malik with his jaw missing, but I don't remember. Not sure. Yeah, it's all new characters and shit. It's, well, not new characters, but you know what I mean. Like they're characters that like you're never gonna see in Disney Star Wars. These are all characters that don't exist in Disney Star Wars. They just don't. You know, and they did like they. It's crazy too because they knew how to do female characters. When Lucas owned it, and now they can't do female characters for shit. Like these two characters are fucking crazy. They're just overpowered as shit. Not overpowered. They're not like Rey, but like they're really cool. Like they actually know how to do. They knew how to do female characters back then. Whereas now they don't really know how to do shit. They just like, let's make them Mary Sue's. Let's make it about political identity and all this other shit. Let's make it about race. Let's make it about sexual orientation. Let's make it about gender equality. Let's make it about like, why can't you just do shit like this? Like, why? Why do the characters have to be, I'm a Mary Sue and you're a bitch and deal with it? Like, why? I don't understand. Why can't they just be normal people? Yeah, I mean. Seeing a lot of aliens in this too, by the way. There's a lot of aliens. Which modern Star Wars doesn't really have that. They're more about we need identity politics and checking off boxes, and so maybe you need to do more aliens. Disney, ever think of that? Maybe you need to have cat people. Maybe you need to like actually give the furry community, you know what I mean? There's a snack bar, bro. There's Admiral Akbar's species. Maybe you need to give the furries, you know, give them some love. Give them cat people in fucking Star Wars. Maybe they'll like it. Yo, there's the baby heads, the fucking Bith. You know, you got the Bith. There's so many fucking aliens. Catman. You know what I'm saying? I don't care for the cat dude, but like maybe people like that shit. Maybe they want to see a cat person in fucking Star Wars. You know, lizard guy? Maybe they're into that shit. Maybe they don't want to see Rey Skywalker. You know, you got fucking Twi'leks, you got ballsack chin guys, Walrus Man. You know? Greedo dudes. Look at this shit. They got, you know, this is diverse as fuck. And it's not about race or any of that shit. It's just fucking aliens. Yeah, but that's pretty much that. It's basically the Old Republic comics in a nutshell. Look at all those aliens with lightsabers. Look at that. Oh my god, it's Ahsoka! Nah, it's not Ahsoka. It's way, voice crack, way before Ahsoka's time period. But she's not canon, so I don't care.
Maybe you'll say ET.
But, I mean, yeah, man, why can't you do characters like this, or nah? Can we, like, not get characters like this anymore? Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Cost too much? Yeah. Can't have characters anymore? Can't have aliens anymore?
Even though there's quality and shit.
Yeah, I mean, look at that droid. Look at this. None of this, to me, oozes woke or trying to push an agenda or nothing. This is just Star Wars. You know what I mean? Look at that, man. It's like Where's Waldo, but Star Wars. Inside a ship. That's wild, man. Here's Revan. The Revanus. It's before he has the mask, obviously. They don't show his face. The Mandalorians. Mandalore Cassius Fett. It's like Boba Fett's great grandfather. Great ancestor. Yo, the hammerheads. Come on. Whatever that guy is. Fishman. And then you got the different planets. Taris, this was in the game. The first game. Gets blown up. Malik blows it up. Coruscant. Coruscant don't really look like Coruscant though. Then you get a map.
Would it be a separate video?
What?
The game?
Yeah, the games that's a separate video. Space Worm. I don't know, this is just Star Wars. That's fucking Star Wars, guys. Like, just is. So, that's Star Wars. Not this other shit we're getting. So, let me put this back. Well, get one good look at it. One nice good look at it. Yeah, that's all the Old Republic stuff. This is all before the games. So, you can find these online for free. You don't have to buy a book. You can find them all online. Readcomicsonline.com. Readcomicsforfree.com. Type whatever you want. Read comics. Damn, excuse me. Read comics free online, whatever the fuck. And you can find these on there. So, these take place before the Old Republic games. So, let me put this down and put this back. Alright. Then we have one last thing for this video. And that is this. The Ultimate Visual Guide Special Edition. This came out in, I want to say 2007. After the release of Revenge of the Sith. They did an ultimate guide detailing the whole thing. So this is all the good shit. This book right here. This is all the Star Wars content that I consider canon. This is where it stops. So this has everything in it up until the point where I stopped caring. So there is no Dave Filoni Clone Wars in this. This is just 1 through 6 and the expanded universe. That's it. So, that's it. There's no Dave Filoni Clone Wars. Hold on, let me do something real quick. There's my toes. Let me do some shit real quick. This is my hairy toes. Let me do this real quick. Go like this. See if I can. Trying to put it, because I have a stand for this, and I'm trying to do it like a kickstand kind of. That's kind of hard to do. So I don't know. Do it like this, but no, yeah, this is good stuff. I mean. See, how far back can I go? Ah, that's fine. We'll go like right there. That's, I guess. But yeah, no, this is all the. I don't like doing it like that though. It's I like the overhead view better. Kind of like it like that better. Yeah, we'll just do that. So yeah, this is all. This book covers everything from 1 through 6, everything before it, everything after it, the expanded universe, the whole thing. So, map of the galaxy, planets, all that stuff. The Sith, the Old Republic. That's Exar Kun, right? Or Naga Sadow? That's the whole Tales of the Jedi shit. I've never really gotten into that. Tales of the Jedi, that's way too far back for me. As far back as I can go is Old Republic. That's Darth Bane. That's about it. I can go as far back as the Old Republic, and then like this era, and then I get lost after that. Because that was the comics that I just showed you, so. So. Yep. Here's Darth Nihilus. Right here. Nihilus. Darth Sion. The Lord of Hunger. Yeah, Darth Nihilus, his whole gimmick is he just eats planets and shit. He's alright. He looks cool, but like his whole gimmick kind of sucks because he's like really not that powerful. Because like once he eats a whole planet, he can pretty much get one hit. Like that's his whole deal. So Quinlan Voss, low battery. That's alright. I'll be done by the end of this. Wampa. The Republic. All the Jedi. The Sith have been extinct for a millennia. Yeah, I think it was this guy that Filoni killed. So George killed him off in Attack of the Clones, and Filoni brought him back in the Clone Wars, which... What an idiot, dude. How do you miss little details like that? Darth Maul. Darth Maul's probably top 5 Sith for me. That's just... He's on that list. Now you're getting into Phantom Menace territory. The Chosen One. Battle of Naboo. Yeah, it's covering like the movies. Fantastic art, by the way. This is great art. This is from the Republic comics that I was talking about, the Clone Wars comics that take place during the Clone Wars. Yeah, this guy. This guy right here, Sand Hill. This guy is literally what Plagueis looks like. This is his species. This is what a Mun is. See, it says Mun. A Mun, whatever you want to call them. They're a part of the banking clan. But yeah, that's what Plagueis looks like, so... That's his species. Dexter Jettster. Obi-Wan, old buddy! Yep, Tragedy on Tatooine. This is a whole thing I was breaking down yesterday. And then this is Ashred Hetz. That's his clan of Tuskens, I think. And Battle of Geonosis. The Clone Wars. Alright, so get ready for this. So this one little section, it's like 2 pages. That's how, you know, the original Clone Wars, it was like a couple years, but like, you know, the only shit they had was, you know, the Battle of Jabim. You know, here's that conversation I was talking about yesterday with Ash Red Het. So that's him talking to Anakin. And like, you know, he's like, yeah, can you live with what you did? And would you do it again? Yeah, Ventress was in the comics. Dirge was in the comics. And Dirge was just killing people left and right. Grievous. Then you had the Gendy series. The Gendy Asaz Ventress. General Grievous. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Look. As Anakin has had recent nightmarish visions of Padme dying, he is captivated when Palpatine tells him of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. There's the lizard thing from Revenge of the Sith. Kashyyyk. Yep. It's pretty cool. Yeah, the Jedi Purge, which would go on to become less impactful thanks to Disney Star Wars. Because everybody was supposed to die. Dark Lord Reborn. Oh yeah, this is a more detailed. So this is the comic version of how he gets his ass cut in half and shit. This is more dark. It's crazy. And then the Dark Times. This takes place after Revenge of the Sith, before the original trilogy. This is the Vader comics, the Empire comics. This is like Vader hunting down all the Jedi and killing them. It says the newly created Darth Vader seeks out pockets of Jedi survivors in an effort to locate Obi-Wan Kenobi. So he's like killing people because he wants to find Obi-Wan. But remember, it's an Inquisitor's job to kill a Jedi.
Then he never would have got his red lightsaber.
It's not evil. It's not canon.
He would have never got his red lightsaber if he didn't kill any Jedi.
It even tells you his main players in the Empire. You got Tarkin, you got Shizor, Mara Jade, and then Kir Kanos, which was one of the Emperor's Royal Guards. That's about the Crimson, I believe Crimson Empire. That's about like the Royal Guards comics. Those are fucking weird. They're fucking crazy. They're insane. Gotta read those comics. It's basically a comic series about the Royal Guards. It's pretty good, actually. Because they were really badass. You go, hey kid. Yep. Black Sun Crime Syndicate in the Hutts. So here's Shizor. And then there's Jabba. The Death Star. Oh, the Civil War. So now it gets into the original trilogy territory. Here's Kyle Katarn. That's he's a main character for the games. He's Dark Forces, Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Knight 1, Jedi Academy. That's Kyle Katarn. He's from the games. Yeah. Luke's Destiny. Obi-Wan in Exile. There's a Krayt Dragon. Krayt Dragon. You know, it just details like the whole saga, you know, before it was royally fucked by Disney. Before Disney ruined it. Battle of Hoth.
Do or do not. There is no try.
No disintegrations. Yo, the bounty hunters. Bosk. Forlam, Zuckus. IG-88, Dengar. Boba. Know 'em all. Space Worm. Space Slug, whatever you want to call it. Oh, yeah. Oh, they don't have his ship on here. I was going to say, oh, yo, look, it's the Slave One that nobody wants to say it because they want to be politically correct. They want to call it Boba Fett's starship. Lando Calrissian. It's the GOAT, man. But Lord Vader, I thought you promised not to kill Han Solo. Pray I do not alter the deal any further. What does he say? This deal keeps getting worse all the time. Shadows of the Empire. You got Yuri, Shizor, the Black Sun crime syndicate. How Leia gets the Boushh disguise. Dash Rendar, who's from the game too. He's in the Shadows of the Empire game. Salacious Crumb. Oh. Oh yeah, Boba Fett escapes the Sarlacc pit in the expanded universe, by the way. And he's rescued by Dengar. Or Disney ruined it.
There is another. No. There is another.
The Battle of Endor. Mara Jade felt that. And this is all the stuff after the original trilogy, so you get the Thrawn trilogy, obviously. You get Heir to the Empire and everything like that. And battery's dying. Dark Empire. What's the deal here? Why is this doing? Why is it showing up like that? What is this? Stop. Stop. Video, what are you doing? Anyways, yeah, I gotta wrap this shit up. I'm running out of battery. The New Jedi Order, that's Luke's whole New Jedi Order. These are his nephews and nieces. Han and Leia's children. So, Jason, Jaina, and Anakin. Solo. Focus. Oh yeah, does that show Chewie dying? Yeah, Chewie dying. Here's the whole death of Chewbacca. Where he gets crushed by a moon. So, Darth Talon. Darth Krayt. Who used to be Ash Redhead. Yeah, 10% battery left. I'm gonna end it. Cade Skywalker. Who was the great-great-grandson of Luke Skywalker. So this is where it ends, actually. This is where the Star Wars universe ends, is in Legacy. So. Oh my god, it's George. Oh, it's George. There he is in the fucking Papa Noida, like he's in the Papa Noida costume.
I'm in the movie. Holy shit.
And you get art, visual effects, models. Yeah, that's how they did the model for Mustafar. That's wild. Posters. The episode 3 poster. Expanding the universe. Mr. Potato Head. Oh yeah, these are all the toys and shit, right? Yeah. Action figures. Merchandise. This is like the toys that my dad grew up with. Yeah. Those are like the fucking... Those like the figures my dad had. I had that Millennium Falcon. It's yellow now. It's actually up there. It's up there. Yellow as shit now, but yeah. Then you get all the little shows that came out, Ewoks Adventures and Droid Tales and the Gendy series by Gendy Tartakovsky, premiering on Cartoon Network before the release of Revenge of the Sith. Good shit. Then you have all the books. There's Heir to the Empire. There's the old, that's the first cover, the original cover. Revenge of the Sith novelization. Literally, he met with Lucas. So Lucas had a hand in creating this whole book. So it is canon. I don't care what anybody says. Then you have the games, man. The video games. Look how far we've come. Look at that. Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Classics by Obsidian. Republic Commando Classic. Battlefront. Yeah. Revenge of the Sith, the game. It's wild, man. Wild. Rip the old Star Wars. But yeah, man, this is when Star Wars ended for me, right here. Right here. Right around this time period. That's when Star Wars ended for me. So. Yep, once they released 4, 5, and 6 on DVD, that's when it ended. Because the saga was complete. So, that's a good book, man. It's a great book, good guide, detailing.
There's Yoda. Roar.
Yeah, I'm gonna end it because I'm pretty much fucking out of battery. So, yeah. If you did leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this shit with people who like this kind of shit. And, yeah. Love you guys. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Stay sane. And happy 20th anniversary for Revenge of the Sith. And there's going to be more videos to come. So, love you. Peace.